Shin Jinso actually gave an interview one time, and I'm pretty sure it was Shin Jinso, and he said something along the lines of playing Go, it's not as fun necessarily as something like Warcraft. And I thought that was funny because, well, I thought in order to become a pro, you had to be obsessed with Go, and that you thought Go was the most fun thing ever and most addictive thing ever. But now that I think about it, well, actually, no, they probably felt like it was the worst thing ever, and wish they didn't have to do it for a large portion of their lives, because that was their homework, that was their school, that was what they had to do to put the bread on the table, right? So I guess it makes sense that he would say that, but it kind of broke this image that I had of professional Go players being the ones who love Go the most, which probably isn't the case. The ones who love Go the most are probably more amateur, casual players who kind of just do it for fun instead of stressing out about it all the time. But you're listening to Starpoint, the show about Go for Go fans away from the board, and you're happening upon the 100th episode of Starpoint. I can't believe we've made it this far. It's kind of crazy. At 100 episodes, I would like to just kind of make sure I thank all of you who are listening right now for participating in Starpoint. If you've listened to the show from the beginning, if you've caught up by binging, or if I'm already way off into the future on other episodes and you're still catching up and you just hit this mark, I congratulate you and I thank you. I thank you for sending in listener mail of all sorts, being part of our community. It's amazing, really. And I do it for you guys, and just knowing every now and then, just hearing about you guys saying that you look forward to it or make it part of your day, that's really what keeps me going. That's really all I'm doing this for. So I really appreciate all the support that has come my way, and I'm really glad to be able to provide a service to you guys and to Go by talking about Go. And I really should play more Go, and I'll let you know when that fire starts burning again. But now I am just kind of casually playing correspondence, which I think is just like I won't ever stop doing that. Like I think that is like at the minimum what I'll keep doing. And I also still do my cardio Sumego. It's funny that that's just become the time when I decide I'm going to do Sumego, and it's gotten easier over time. I still think about Go a lot. Even though I'm not playing live games, I still think about Go. Maybe it's because I want to think about topics for the podcast, but I'm still like playing with ideas of like how to get back into Go in my head. Like I have like different things that I want to try. But anyway, I'll update you guys on that when it comes. Without further ado, I want to go over Go Proverbs in this episode, and I haven't really done a formal Go Proverb episode. And why not, for the 100th episode, we rate 100 Go Proverbs. So this is going to be how it works. I have a list of exactly 100 Go Proverbs. It's kind of mashed together from Sensei's library, and I think Wikipedia is the other source that I used. And I tried to filter out the duplicates. Hopefully I got them all and there are no duplicates. But I'm going to go through them all. I'm going to read each one of them and give a few seconds of my thoughts on it, maybe explaining it or some experience that I had with it. And then, just to make things a little more interesting, I'm going to give it a rating. And the ratings will go from S to F, and they will be as follows. I'll just kind of give you a basic criteria. S will be Go Proverbs that are game-changing, and they're deeper than it seems. They become deeper the more you think about it and the more you use it, and it really changes your perspective on the game. A is like kind of just like a weak S, obviously. Maybe that's not a good definition, but something that is like will improve your game, and it's great. Maybe not necessarily game changing, right? Maybe not at that level. Maybe doesn't have that distinction. But B is kind of more like general knowledge, right? It's more common sense stuff, very standard, fundamental, foundational stuff. It's good stuff to know, right? You should know it, and it's core knowledge. C, Not super helpful. Something that I don't really find as helpful. Maybe kind of lacks a little oomph. I feel like it won't really apply to my games or something like that. D, I think, will be the rank reserved for proverbs that are just flat out wrong. Like, I don't agree with it. It just doesn't seem to make sense, or it won't have any impact on your game. Something like that. And then F, it's like by listening to this proverb, it has actively made you worse at Go. Like, that's what an F will be. Let's see if we find any of those. And then one actual special rank that I'm going to give here, which is DU. Don't understand. I don't understand the proverb, and I can't give a fair rating. So let's get right into it. Proverb number 1. The enemy's key point is yours. This one is a very easy to use one, and it's very common sense. So I'm going to give this one right out the gate a B, because it feels like a general knowledge one. And it's like, in chess, maybe it's not so true, but in Go, it's definitely true. You want to, well, not always, but a lot of the time, you want to just play that point that your opponent wants to play. And that's a good way of thinking about a lot of problems. 2, play on the point of symmetry. This is very similar to the previous one. But I think this is kind of useful in learning like life and death forms, and it's a good shortcut to find the solution. And sometimes when you just see a symmetrical life and death problem, the answer is usually actually just the point of symmetry. I'll call this one B, general knowledge. Okay, proverb number 3. Sente gains nothing. Sente gains nothing. I don't think I fully understand the meaning of this one, other than the fact that Sente for Sente's sake is not really valuable to you unless you have something that you can use with Sente. Unless there's something that I'm not hitting here, I'm going to have to give this one a C. I don't think this one is very helpful. Maybe someone, again, like not again, this is the first time I'm mentioning this, but if I go over these proverbs and you disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts on expanding the meaning of some of these, but I'm giving this one a C. Number 4, beware of going back to patch up. I think that one's pretty good. The idea that you can leave things for later is usually not a good idea in Go to use while you play. I think you should try to take care of everything as you go, and it'll be better. And I think I heard something that's like good players play for what they want to try to achieve, or I don't know, I'm butchering it, but basically it's like you're trying to solve problems by playing your moves, versus strong players, they try to solve problems that they might have in the future with their moves. So I think this is a good proverb. It has some depth to it. I'll give this one an A. Number 5, when in doubt, Tanuki. That's pretty good. I think that I don't really think about this proverb very much, and I think I could probably use it. This one, I'm kind of hesitating between an A and a B here. Let's say, you know what? I think this one, it makes me kind of inspired. Let's give this one an A as well. Number 6, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. So this one is like a DDK proverb. If you don't know what the proverb means, it means like if you have a lot of flimsy, weak groups everywhere, if you're trying to attack someone at that point, it's not very wise. Like, don't do that. That's going to just end in bad stuff for you. So protect your own groups and make sure you're secure before you go and throw stones. I think this one's a good one. If I was a DDK, I might put this at an A, but I'll call this general knowledge and give it a B. Number 7, there is death in the Hane. This is another one of those shortcuts that's good for life and death. This one, it's almost a C because I feel like it's kind of not helpful. You know what? I think I'm going to give this a C. This is such a famous one. It's hard to give this a C because it's iconic. There is death in the Hane, but it's just, I don't think it adds much to your game. Obviously you're going to like try Hanes, right? Number 8, learn the eye stealing, excuse me. Learn the eye stealing Tsuji. Okay, this one's a tough one. I feel like, so the eye stealing Tsuji is kind of like a placement Tsuji that puts the stone in the killing vital point of a group, and it's like it takes away their potential for eyes. I don't know about judging this proverb because this proverb is like, go study and learn this. It's not really a proverb to me. So it will improve your game, but just because it's a weak proverb as a proverb, I'm going to say this is general knowledge B. Capture 3 to get an eye. Okay, this one, maybe a Dawn player or above will consider this a B because this is pretty obvious. But at my level, I'm going to call this a little higher. I mean, it should be obvious at my level as well, but it is something I think about all the time. And it's like it presents itself in more forms than one. And to have this in your head, this is another thing. You often find, just to quickly explain some of these, in case you don't know what capture 3 to get an eye means. There are a lot of situations where you feel like you can capture a couple stones here and there, and that'll make an eye for you when you realize, no, you can have that eye stolen away from you still or made a false eye. Capture 3 to get an eye is like a good rule of thumb for like how much space you need in order to get a sure eye. So this one, I'm going to give this an A. 6 die, but 8 live on the second line. So this one, it has to do with like an abstract formation of groups of stones, like a flat line of stones on the second line, and it's kind of surrounded, and it has to do with how many spaces are under that stone between those stones and the first line. And it's as the proverb says, 6 dies and 8 lives. You need a little study on this. You need to go and study to really learn what this one means. This is kind of like a will improve your game, but at the same time, it doesn't really. It's good general knowledge, I would say. And then likewise, 4 die, but 6 live. And this applies on the second line in the corner, not on the side. So remember these two things, right? 4 die, but 6 live applies to the corner. And this one I'll also give a general knowledge. And then 4 is 5, 5 is 8, and 6 is 12. You might be very confused if you don't know what I'm talking about. This is the proverb. 4 is 5, and 5 is 8, and 6 is 12. And this has to do with the number of liberties the inside space of a group has. So if you have 4 spaces inside of the group, that's 5 additional liberties because it's on the inside. And then 5 spaces counts as 8 additional liberties, and 6 is 12. If you haven't done this, if you don't know what this is, go ahead and try it out and see what this means. Look it up and try it out. It actually works out pretty well, and it can help you in a situation where you're in a capturing race and you have to quickly count how many liberties you have. So I think this one I'm going to give this an A. The L group is dead. Well, go look up what the L group is if you don't know. But if you know, you know. This is good to study. I will say this is general knowledge. You know what? Should I give this an A? Let's give this an A. It's general knowledge, but it's pretty game changing because not S tier game changing. But if you know this will really help with certain situations on the board. Number 14, strange things happen at the 1-2 point. All right. This one is, I kind of like this proverb because it really describes kind of the unique nature of Go and how it's not just like this predictable thing where everywhere on the board, it's the same old thing, but like in certain positions, funky things happen. And there are many Go problems that exploit this strange things happen at the 1-2 point proverb. But I don't know if it's very useful. I just don't think it's very useful. Like, sure, you should consider, but I'm going to give this a C, even though I like the proverb just for the interest. Okay, number 15, eyes win semi-eyes. This one's a general knowledge to me. I think that semi-eyes are like capturing races, no? What are semi-eyes? Semi-eyes are like kind of like, are the semi-eyes like the Seki looking capture rate? I don't know, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to give this a B based on what I think it is. Check escape routes first. Unless there's some deeper meaning to this, I think this is a little bit too low level and too common knowledge. Check escape routes first. I'm going to give this a not very helpful, a C, even though it's kind of general knowledge. I feel like it's a little below that. Yeah, obviously, see if you can escape. I think that's everyone's first instinct, even without being told. Number 17, only enclosed groups can be killed. That's the same thing. C. It's kind of obvious. It's kind of like, I mean, okay, so certain DDK players can forget this, and they try to kill without enclosing. So it's a good one to kind of emphasize, but I think it's just a little too obvious. So I'm going to stick with a C rating on that one. 18, respond to attachment with Hane. Now this one is like really obvious if you know how to play Go, but if you're a DDK, or you're a beginner, attaching or responding to an attachment with a Hane, it's game changing. It's like an S tier for DDKs. But I will give this one a B as a general knowledge. If somebody attaches to you, the most basic fundamental move you do is a Hane on that. It's like, that's the first thing you should consider. And if you don't know if it's good or bad, just play it, right? If you should make a judgment, obviously, but if you're just not sure, if you haven't had experience with it, just play the Hane. It's usually going to be good. Hane at the head of 2 stones. Man, this one, it's an A. This one's an A. I think that Hane at the head of 2 stones is something that has come up again and again over the course of my career in Go. And it's just something that I always think about. And whenever I see somebody not respect this proverb, I cringe at it. And I'm like, oh no, like you've lost a huge opportunity. That's an A, I think. Number 20, crosscut, then extend. Crosscut, then extend. So this is another like fighting basics kind of proverb. Rather than, I think the instinct maybe at first to just Atari, and crosscut and stuff like that. But crosscut and then extend is a very common pattern. So I'll give this one a B. Capture the cutting stones. Okay, this one's like the title of one of the sections in the Tsuji book. And so I can't really count this as a proverb. I'm going to call this a C. It's not very helpful. Yeah, capture the cutting stones. It's something they should do. Sure. Number 22. Beginners play Atari. Okay, so this is like synonymous with crosscut then extend almost. Beginners play Atari, which is like, yeah, that's true. Beginners play Atari. Is that helpful? Not really. Unless you're a beginner, it might be a little helpful. I'm going to give this a C, actually. The empty triangle is bad. The empty triangle is bad. And it's something that you should avoid, but not always. Empty triangle is, if you don't know, 3 stones arranged in an L shape, I guess. So it's really like an L. What I don't understand is why it's called an empty triangle when it's like, is it really empty? Let's call this general knowledge B. The 1-point jump is never bad. I love this proverb. This proverb comes up a lot when I can't do anything, when I can't think of what to do, I do a 1-point jump. And I remember this proverb and I think it serves me well. The 1-point jump is never bad. Obviously every proverb has its exceptions and this one seems like it's just asking to be like disproven, but honestly, I just haven't seen a terrible 1-point jump and I think this one deserves an A. Don't try to cut the 1-point jump. All right, that one's not as useful. That one's kind of a little bit more obvious and maybe who tries to cut a 1-point jump unless they have like a Tsuji or something? Yeah, I don't think this one's very helpful. C. 26. From 1, 2. From 2, 3. Oh, this one is referring to extensions from a wall. So, real quick lesson on this. If you have a stone, an efficient way to extend from that stone wouldn't be to just attach another stone next to it, but to go out another space, aka a 1-point jump, because it's just faster and it's more efficient. by that same line of thinking, what you do is if you have a wall of 2 stones, you can go out 3 spaces. So from 1, 2, from 2, 3, and it goes on indefinitely. So from 4 stones, you can go out 5 spaces. This is just a general rule of thumb of like how far you can extend from any given wall of any given size. And it's really helpful. And if you didn't know that, I think it's a really good thing to learn. So I'm going to give this an A. No S tiers so far. I'm surprised that I haven't handed them out, but we'll see if we encounter any. We're 27 now. Strike at the waist of the Kema. I think that this one seems very obvious. Kema is a knight's move, by the way. And so in order to cut the knight's move, it's good to strike at the waist of it, which is like the 2 spaces kind of in between the knight's move. This one seems like general knowledge, and I feel like it is. So I will put it at B, but it is something that comes up in my games a lot. And it's just something to remember. As you're considering moves, consider the striking at the waist of the Kema. Cutting right through a knight's move is very big. Cutting right through a knight's move is very big. So this is, imagine you have a knight's move and then you have 2 stones cutting right through it. Like you chopped the knight in half. It's only a flesh wound. But that is like honestly huge, right? If you're able to do that or find a way to get a shape like that, that is incredible. And I see that sometimes weaker players, they allow that to happen and they don't realize that. So this is a useful proverb for that. This is tough. I think a lot of these proverbs, I'm wondering if I should grade them based on the level that they're aimed at. But I think I'll just kind of put this one at a B. This one's a B. Do not peep at cutting points. So this one, I don't know. Like I've peeped at cutting points. I didn't know this was a proverb. Like I understand why sometimes it's not good to peep at cutting points, but I don't know what's wrong with peeping at cutting points if you want a certain thing to happen. So I might have to give this one the first DU. Do not understand. Well, that would be like a DNU, but I'm saying it's don't understand. I don't think I fully understand this one. So unless it's wrong, I don't know, but that's why. I'm going to say this is a DU. Number 30, even a moron connects against a peep. So this one's famous because of the famous use of the word moron, but it's pretty good. You know, sometimes I doubt, should I connect against this peep? And I remember I don't want to be a moron, so I connect. And I think it usually serves me right. So I will give this one a general knowledge B. It's just good to connect against a peep. It's like good shape. 31. If you have 1 stone on the 3rd line in Atari, add a 2nd stone and sacrifice both. This is another new one to me. If you have 1 stone on the 3rd line in Atari, this is a very specific situation. 1 stone on the 3rd line in Atari, add a 2nd stone and sacrifice both. This one, I honestly don't know how good it is. I don't know whether that's a good thing to do. I can't really judge that right now without trying to actually use this proverb. I might have to give this one a DU because I understand why that would be good, or the main point of the proverb. So I would have to try it out before I gave it a grade. 32. Use contact moves for defense. That one is a good one that I struggle with. Like, I know this is a proverb and I know this is... So contact moves meaning like attach to surrounding stones and things, force things around you so you can kind of build shape and, you know, fill out your space and grab the eye space that you need when you're under attack. But I just have not been able to apply this to my games very much. And I know this is how you're supposed to do it. I've seen examples of it. I just haven't found many situations where I feel very proficient at it. I think I'm going to give this one an A, even though I haven't been able to improve my game specifically with it as much. I think there's a lot of potential in this one, and I think I should put more work into understanding it. Number 33. Never ignore a shoulder hit. That's a good one. Shoulder hit, typically when you have a stone on the third line and your opponent comes in and puts a stone diagonal to that stone, that's a shoulder hit from above, obviously not from the armpit down below. And generally speaking, you shouldn't ignore those. And I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb. I'm going to call this a general knowledge B. The bamboo joint may be short of liberties. The bamboo joint may be short of liberties. I have died from this proverb a few times, not by using it, but not being aware of it. I had a bamboo joint and it looked so connected. A bamboo joint, by the way, is two stones next to each other, and then they're like two one space jumps put together. So it's like supremely connected. You can't cut through it. But if you have a dragon with a bamboo joint, that disconnection and you connecting that bamboo joint can cause a shortage of liberties and cause you to die. So it's something to be aware of. I'll call this a B, general knowledge. Nets are better than ladders. Nets are better than ladders because it's kind of like a completed form of a ladder, right? A ladder is dependent on the surrounding areas and what other stones there are all the way across the board. A net is kind of like a sealed, like, okay, I've captured you. Like, there's no way out. It's like a compacted ladder. So this is a good one. And Kageyama also likes this. And I will call this B, general knowledge. Answer the capping play with a knight's move. Answer the capping play with a knight's move. So a cap, it's like an opponent's one space jump towards the center. So if you have a stone on the third line or so, a cap is like a one space jump into the direction of Tengen. But your opponent comes and caps you, puts a little cap on your head. Not directly on your head, like attached, but like above, floating above your head. So answer the capping play with a knight's move means like if your opponent caps you like that, then play a knight's move. It's like a good consideration. I'm gonna give a lot of B's out. This one's a B as well for me. Approach from the wider side. I already know this one's a B, but basically when you're approaching your opponent's stones and you're trying to figure out which side to approach them from, pick the side with more space, the wider side. So that one is a B for me. Block on the wider side. This is typically for like 3/3 corner invasions and you don't know which side to block. You should usually block the wider side. Although that can be thrown into question sometimes, especially after AI developments, but it's a good rule of thumb. Block on the wider side. Play at the center of 3 stones. Oh, I didn't give a grade to that. That's a B. It's going to be a big B streak, I think. 39. Play at the center of 3 stones. That might be confusing if you don't know what that is, because at the center of 3 stones is a stone. So how are you going to play there? But it's talking about like the crane's nest shape almost. So when you have 3 stones and they're kind of like becoming short on liberties and stuff, you've definitely encountered this in your games. The way to escape or the way to attack that group is the center point, like one space away from that group of 3 stones. So it's like, what's a good like shape for that? I don't know, but it's like 3 stones and then like a one space jump in the middle. That is a pretty good one, but I think it's just general knowledge. B. Answer Keima with Kosumi. Answer Keima with Kosumi, huh? I don't know this one. I actually haven't really. I see the example here. It's like someone tries to do a capping play on you, but it's not a capping play. It's a Keima. It's like a. By the way, again, reminder: Keima means knight's move. So it's like a knight's move attack on someone, and you respond with a Kosumi. That one sounds like, because I don't know it, and I feel like it'll help improve my game. And I trust it. I just trust it implicitly. I'm going to give this one an A. 5 liberties for tactical stability. Oh, there was an episode of the Don and Q podcast. I think, was 5 the number? There was an extensive discussion on how many liberties is thick. and it's like 5 liberties is like the magic number. This one, oh man, 5 liberties for tactical stability. I'm considering S tier for this one because it makes you think a lot. Can I give this an S tier? All right, let's mark it S for now. We can come back and reconsider. Yeah, just because it's just such a simple thing to consider. Like 5 liberties is thick, or 5 liberties is like, it's like so like mind blowing. Like what? How can you just say 5 liberties? Doesn't it depend? But I think there's more to it, and I think there's a lot of depth to that, and I want to give that an S for now. Number 42. Capture stones caught in a ladder at the earliest opportunity. That one's pretty good. I think it's a little better than general knowledge. I think because a lot of times you feel like, oh, it's in a ladder, I'll take care of it. It's, but to just capture them at the earliest opportunity, it says multiple things. Like, don't go back and patch up, right? That's an earlier proverb. And also how much a capture is worth on the board. Like, don't even think about other things. If you capture a stone like on the board in the middle like that, that is crazy, and that's great for you. So just do it. And those kinds of proverbs I think are really good. I'm going to give that one an A. 2 Hanes getting a liberty. This is another life and death tip. Oftentimes you'll have little situations where you're doing a capturing race and you just need one more liberty. One way to do that is to Hane underneath on both sides, and suddenly you magically have gained a liberty by doing that. It's a good one to know, and I think I want to give this an A as well. Number 44, the strong player plays straight, the weak plays diagonal. Big if true. I don't know this one. The strong player plays straight, the weak plays diagonal. I think it's true. I play a lot of Kasumis, and so I'm weak, and that's true. So I think this one's true, and I'm going to have to give this an A because I'm thinking about it, and I want to try it out, and I'm enticed. And I do notice that a lot of strong players, when I watch their game sometimes, there's like these giant straight lines, and it's beautiful. 45, play double sente early. Play double sente early. I think that's a good rule of thumb. It's a good endgame tip. Let's give this one a B. Number 46, remove mutual co-threats before the co. It's pretty common sense, I would say. So if you're going to start a co somewhere, remove all the co-threats. Or all the mutual co-threats. I guess I don't really know what a mutual co-threat is. I think I kind of understand the line of thinking though. So I'm going to give this one a B. Number 47, urgent points before big points. Urgent points before big points. This is common sense, and I want to give it a B, but it's such an important proverb that I'm going to raise it up to an A. It says a lot about your order of thinking in Go and treating the differences, right? To distinguish what is urgent and what is big is a very important skill in the game, and it will definitely improve your game if you think more about what constitutes each of those categories. 48, play away from thickness. This one is something this one is S tier. This one's S tier because I think as you go up the ranks, this proverb just morphs and it just keeps on advising you. Play away from thickness. In the beginning, it's just obvious, like, oh, let's say there was this big capture here on the board. Don't play there anymore, right? It's useless. It's like throwing an egg at a wall, which is another proverb I will probably cover later. But as you go on, as you keep going, it's like there are more things to think about that apply to this. Don't use thickness. Play away from thickness. And I even saw a comment one time that said, all in all, like the biggest advice I can give anyone for their game is play away from thickness. And I loved that comment because it really made me think, like, is that all it's about? Just like always play away from thickness? And then you pair it with earlier 5 liberties for tactical stability, which I wouldn't have given an S if it wasn't for that podcast episode. But pair those two, and you just basically have the winning formula. 49, don't use thickness to make territory. This one was so confusing to me when I was improving as a DDK. And I'm like, why would I not use thickness to make territory? It's like the perfect backdrop for a large amount of territory. And I'm going to give this one an A tier because it's very vital. Don't use thickness to make territory. In fact, you'd be better off not trying to do anything with thickness, because you know what? That's how it helps you. I've had thickness show up later as like this friendly giant friend who's been watching over me this whole time, and it's just been like, hey buddy, I'm here to help you now. And it's won me games, and that's like the best thing ever. So don't try to like use it for your own like territorial needs, and just, well, you're supposed to use it to attack your opponent, but that doesn't always happen. And so you're better off just not doing anything with it, I think, and staying away from it. And which is like why the other one is an S tier. Play away from thickness. It's not just your own thickness, it's not just your opponent's thickness, but also your own thickness. It's just thickness in general. Play away from it. 50. Make territory while attacking. Make territory while attacking. This is like, if you find yourself to be the kind of player who just likes attacking and just keeps attacking, well, just stop trying to kill and make territory while attacking. And it's like, what are you trying to gain by attacking? The first answer you might think of is like, oh, I'm trying to gain the murder of my opponent, which is kind of the wrong answer, and it won't last you very long in this game. What is a better approach is knowing that your threats are forcing your opponent to escape and wiggle out, but while you're doing that, you're just kind of amassing wealth, and that's a very good thing to do. I'm going to give this an A tier. Yeah. I'll give that an A. All right, we're halfway through, and we got 50 left. If you are sticking with me and following along, I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts on your own. So far, we have just a couple S tiers, a lot of Bs and As, and a few Cs. No Ds or Fs yet, but we'll see what the next 50 holds. 51, a Panuki is worth 30 points. This one's pretty good. It really emphasizes, like, hey, Panukis are good. Panukis, by the way, are like just imagine a single stone being captured somewhere in the middle of the board. And that's like a huge amount of points. It's like 30 points. Not literally, it's like 30 potential points. It's like 30 points worth of thickness. So I think this one's a good one. It's like a B plus, A minus. I'll give it an A. Make a fist before striking. This one's really good. You definitely see this on the board, and it's like a good characterization of what the board feels like when this happens. But when you attack somebody, you have to make all the right preparations for it, and it's like this patient waiting of attacking. And once you've made yourself steady and you're able to attack them from a steady position, it can be far more powerful. I'll give this one a B. 53. Do not defend territories open on two sides. Oh. I don't know. If it's open on both sides, is it really territory? I guess that's the point of the proverb. I feel like this one's kind of weak. C. 54. Don't try to enclose when you have an open skirt. Don't try to enclose when you have an open skirt. I think it's kind of similar to the previous one. And I think that's why I'll give it a C as well. 55. Attach to the stronger stone in a pincer. Attach to the stronger stone in a pincer. So when this is saying that when you're pincered, like, you know what a pincer is, right? Attach to the stronger stone. Which one's the stronger stone, though? I don't know. I'm going to give this one a DU. I don't understand that one. 56, make a feint to the east while attacking in the west. That one's great. Another version of this is make noise in the east while attacking in the west. And I think it's like a Sun Tzu analect or something, right? It's not just a Go thing. I love this. It's poetic and it's fun, but I don't know if it's all that useful. Like, I understand the concept of like trying to make it look like you're attacking something that's totally unrelated to your real target. I don't know how applicable it is when you're playing, and I don't know how helpful this proverb is. It's really cool, and for the poeticism of it, like, I love it, but I'm gonna have to give this one a C. I'm sorry. 57, a rich man should not pick quarrels. This is kind of like another version of the glass house one, but totally different in meaning. This is like, if you're ahead and you're winning, don't make the board complicated and try to like do these weird attacks and life and death things. Like, just be stable and be happy with what you got and cruise right to the end. And it's kind of like common sense. So I'm going to give this a B. 58, reduction is worth as much as an invasion. Whoa, that's a big statement, because it's like you're thinking like, can I invade or do I have to reduce? That's like the normal thought process, right? You consider invasion first because it's more drastic and maybe like scoops out more. But I think this one is pretty insightful and deep. A reduction is worth as much as an invasion. I'm gonna trust this proverb is good, and I'm gonna give this an A because it's pretty good. I think because it's like, if you reduce, you actually get some thickness out of that, versus an invasion and they get enclosed. You take away their territory, but you've given them some thickness. So it's like, well, maybe a reduction is worth just as much as an invasion. So I'll give this one an A. 59, invade a moyo one move before it becomes territory. So if somebody has like a big potential territory and it's forming and it's crystallizing and it's taking shape, the right timing to invade is right before it's about to really be, reach the point of no return. A little too early is like a little too slow. A little too late, well, obviously you're not going to really be able to invade it. So one move before it becomes territory is the timing you're going for. I'll give this one a B. It's general knowledge, I think. 60, don't attach when attacking, or don't touch weak stones. I guess two versions of this proverb. Don't touch weak stones, don't attach when attacking. I think it's common sense, kind of like a Go common sense. Because touching a weak stone makes it stronger. It gives it an opportunity to grow and become thicker. And so you kind of don't want to touch them. 61, make weak walk along with weak. Someone says it's a Korean proverb, and I don't understand. Ironically enough. 62, 5 groups might live, but the 6th will die. That's a good one, maybe describing the game and how it works. If you're managing too many groups, it's very difficult to keep them all alive and have enough care that you can put in for all of them to live. So it's good, but at the same time, I don't know if it's very useful other than for weak players who are just specifically having this problem. I'm going to give this one a C. 63, big dragons never die. Big dragons never die. So this may not really be true, but it's useful. Because if you're hinging the game on whether your dragon will live or die, or whether your opponent's dragon will live or die, you usually don't see those giant dragons die. It's just very, very rare. And you can really fall into the trap of trying to win a game by killing a giant dragon. And then, or maybe it started off as like a little worm, a little serpent. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to kill this. And then you can start chasing it. And before you know it, it's this giant dragon. And you've lost the game because your stones are all out of order and everything. So it's really good to know, ahead of time, as you're trying to chase this little tiny thing, it starts to grow and you're like, wait a second, this is turning into a pretty big dragon. I'm going to stop trying to kill it. So this is a good one. I think A for this one. 64, give your opponent what he wants. Oh, I love this one. I love the simplicity of it. I want to give this an A right off the bat. I just really like this one. And it's like, try to play Go like this. Go into a game and just give your opponent what he wants. You probably will win. I bet you will win. Oh man, I'm going to give this an S tier actually. This one is a really good one. It's like, imagine you're just like learning Go from a Go master and they're just like, give your opponent what he wants. And you're just kind of like, why would I do that? I'm trying to win. And then your master's just like, give them what they want. And then you finally listen and you win because like they didn't want the right things. It's so Go. And it's like, you can't really do that in many other games. I love it. S tier. 65, sacrifice plums for peaches and don't trade $1 for a penny. I'm sorry, what? Don't trade $1 for a penny, I understand. I don't think that's very helpful. Sacrifice plums for peaches? What's that? I'll give this one a DU. Okay, here it is. 66, don't throw an egg at a wall. This is like play away from thickness, but more visual, more imagery. If you have this wall, this giant wall, don't play this like tiny stone next to it. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything. Don't do that. That's a good one. But I think it's kind of common knowledge, so I'll give it a B tier. 67, there are no co-threats in the opening. Well, because there are no stones in the opening, or there are very few stones, and you really can't threaten much, even though like getting a free move is a free move in the opening. Usually if there's a co that's formed, you don't have any bargaining chips. It's a good common sense one. I'll give this a B. 68, strengthening your own weak group makes your opponent weaker. Strengthening your own weak group makes your opponent weaker. That's good. I like that. I haven't really thought about that one. Whether I've heard it or not, I don't really know. But like you think that strengthening your own weak group is like a wasted move because, oh, I'm just going back to patch up my own thing and it's like not going to do anything else on the board. But all stones radiate power and energy on the Go board. And the fact that you've made your own weak group stronger, it makes your opponent's groups weaker. And it's really cool. I think I like this one a lot. Let's give this one A. Don't go fishing while your house is on fire. This was one of the first ones I heard. My friend taught it to me when I knew nothing about Go, and it just did not help me at all at the time. But it stuck with me and it has helped me since. Don't go fishing while you're... This is probably like one of my favorite proverbs from just how it sounds perspective and like just how it's phrased. I love this proverb, but I'm ranking these proverbs based on usefulness almost, and I'll give this one... Man, this one's hard. I'm going to have to give this a B. Because what it's really saying is, if you have something that's like a problem with your groups and it's like there's an urgent move, it's like urgent before big almost. Like don't go picking another thing. Like don't go doing other things if you have bigger matters to take care of. But I just love the proverb. I have like special recognition for it, but it's a B tier. 70, never upset your star point stones. I don't know what this means. How do you upset the stones? Okay, DU. I'm going to go and review these DU eventually someday and see what I've missed. I'm going to give this a DU. 70. Greed for the win takes the win away. Oh. Is this like a moral one or is it like an actual gameplay proverb? I'm just opening the description for this one. Also commonly known as Q disease, i.e. trying to kill something which cannot be killed or such other overplays. Oh, it's just don't be greedy, basically. I thought it meant like if you play in a greedy way and you still win, it's a hollow victory or something like that, something deeper. But Greed for the win takes the win away. Let's call this B. 72. High move, fourth line, for influence. Low move, third line, for territory. This one's an A. It's just very, very basic Go principles. It's like one of the first things you should learn, in my opinion. The third and fourth lines are not emphasized enough in this game for beginners, and this is a very good proverb to know. Fourth line for influence, third line for territory. It's simple as that. 73. If you have lost 4 corners, resign. I've won. You see, I'm hesitating here right now because I've won after losing 4 corners before. But it's generally true, right? If you've lost 4 corners, it's like, how are you going to catch up? Oh man, I shouldn't. I'm trying to give this a D for just giving it a D because I haven't given out a D and I want to. But I think this is a C. And I think this is a C because I don't think it's very helpful. It's just kind of like a descriptive thing of the game, and it's not always true. But yeah. 74. Don't push from behind. Don't push from behind. That's a good one. Common knowledge. I'll give this one a B. Basically, if you're kind of walking along and pushing, right, with stones kind of going right next to each other one by one, and you're pushing. If you're behind your opponent and your opponent is getting ahead of you faster, that's usually not a good situation for you. It's just general knowledge. So that's a B for me. 75, don't push along the second line. So this is like, I would maybe even better phrase it as don't crawl along the second line. If you're, this is for the person on the second line, right? Not the person above the second line pushing them, because you should definitely do that. If you're on the second line crawling, it's a really bad situation for you. But this is general knowledge. I think it's going to give it a B. 76, don't push if you're not going to cut. Oh, what is that? That's a new flavor. I don't know this one. Don't push if you're not going to cut. Really? Huh. I'll have to think about that one. Why not? Maybe I'll give this a DU. I don't really trust it all the way, but I'm curious about it. 77, don't follow Proverbs blindly. That one's good. That one's like a necessary Go proverb to have with all of these proverbs put together. Don't follow Proverbs blindly. It's kind of common sense. We'll call it a B, right? If you've played Go and you've played a few games, you'll realize that proverbs don't always make sense all the time and won't instantly make you stronger, and that the best Go player isn't a proverb like following master. It's someone who takes the proverbs and finds the wisdom in it to develop their game. 78, proverbs do not apply to white. What in the world? What in the world is this? Proverbs do not apply to white. I need to read this one. This particular proverb, which obviously doesn't apply to white. Oh, that's so funny. Applies to handicap games. Oh, I see. Proverbs are designed to guide you to a natural way of playing Go, subconsciously applying the results of centuries of effort building up Go knowledge. Proverbs make honest, proper play. I still don't know why that it wouldn't apply to white in a handicap game. I mean, it's a funny proverb. I like the proverb, but I might have to give this a D, my first D, because I don't think it's true, even if it's a handicap game. 79, learning Joseki loses 2 stone strengths. Oh man, this one's a controversial one. So I understand where this is coming from, and I have experienced this proverb. Learning Joseki loses 2 stone strength. I have gone into a game, done a certain way, learned a Joseki, gone into the game, and done worse because I knew the Joseki. Because I was following something that maybe I didn't understand. Because I didn't know how to branch away from the Joseki. And that I didn't spend enough time using my judgment on the Joseki. But to say that learning Joseki is bad for you is, I think, bad for you. I think it's bad to say that it's bad to learn Joseki. And also what validated, I really like following Go Inside's Joseki videos, and her Joseki videos are probably one of the best on YouTube. And she also did an interview on the All Things Go podcast, and she also did not like this proverb, and it kind of validated my thinking of this whole Joseki nonsense. And it's like she treated it as like she hadn't heard of it, like this proverb, and it's just something that Westerners say. And so I'm gonna give this a fat F. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Number 80. If you don't know ladders, don't play Go. If you don't know ladders, don't play Go. That is to say, really, it's important to learn ladders in Go, but I don't like this one. I don't like any proverb that says don't play Go. F. 81. If you don't like Ko, don't play Go. If you don't like Ko, don't play Go. I know a lot of people don't like Ko, and it's like you're saying don't play Go then, because Ko is an integral part of the game. I understand that. Okay, let's say that. What would I say to a person if they were like, "Oh, Go is a great game, but I really hate Ko," right? And so this proverb saying like, "Oh, you don't like Ko, then don't play Go," right? Then you don't like Go, right? I would say, you know what? If you're allowed to not like certain aspects of a game and continue playing it. Okay, so this is an F for me as well. Anything that says don't play Go, because I'm telling you, this is the 100th time that I will tell you to keep playing Go. And so if any proverb tells you not to play Go, I'm going to give it an F. 82, lose your first 50 games as quickly as possible. That's S tier right away for me. That is like my core philosophy on how to get better at Go. And people don't follow this. People say, "Oh, I played so many games." And they say, "Oh, I played my first 50 games as quickly as possible." And it's like, no, the proverb says lose your first 50 games as quickly as possible. So go back to the servers or wherever, the club, and play more games until you've lost 50 games. And there's also more variation on this. 100 games, 1,000 games, whatever. It extends indefinitely. Just keep playing Go. That's what this proverb is. So that's an S for me. 83. The threat is stronger than its execution. This is something that I really love about Go, and I think it really describes the poetry of Go for me. Because I always think that Go is Kung Fu in slow motion, and imagine like two Kung Fu masters with the reflexes that surpass human time. Human time. Time is not human, is it? Anyway, but like you like the beginner will strike and the other beginner will be punched. But then the more advanced player will strike, the advanced player will kind of predict that strike and move to dodge it. So the even more advanced player will not even strike because they know that the other player will dodge that strike. So why even strike? And they will try something else. And then eventually they're just kind of like meditating on rocks because they know, what each other are going to do. And so this is like, as you play Go, you realize how much this applies. Like, there are so many things that you used to play and now you don't play it because it's just implied that it will be played. And there are so many things implied. That's why it's so hard to follow professional games, because you're like, "Oh, why did you play that move?" "Oh yeah, because if I played this move, then a million things will happen. And then if I played that move, another million things happen. So this move made only sense because this million things that happen on this move are the best set." And it's like, and it's just one little stone on this grid, and it implies and it has so much meaning in that. I love this one. I love this one for the poetry of it, for the usefulness of it, though. You know what? It's my show. I'm giving this one an S. 84. Only after the 10th punch will you see the fist, and only after the 20th you will block it. Will you block it? Only after the 10th punch will you see the fist, and only after the 20th will you block it. I don't know about this one, man. This one's a mouthful. I think I'm going to give this one a either a DU or C. Maybe it's just a C. I'll give this one a C at 85. An eye of 6 points is in a rectangle is alive. An eye of 6 points in a rectangle is alive. That's good to know. I'll give this a B. 86. Don't make dangos. Dangos otherwise. I prefer the term dumpling, which is just like a cluster of stones. It's like empty triangle, but like mutated. And it's not a good thing to do overall in your games. I don't think it's very helpful to say this. I mean, I think it's a given, and I don't know if this don't make dangos really helped many people. I'll just kind of quietly lower it to a C for this one. 87, don't peep at both sides of a bamboo joint. Okay. I don't know anyone who will peep at both sides of a bamboo joint. I'll give this one a C because I agree with it. Like it is true. Don't do that, but it's kind of a strange proverb. 88, do not be greedy. This is really hard. This is very much the encapsulation of Go, and you will go in thinking that you won't be greedy, and you will find yourself being greedy, and you realize the way to win is to not be greedy. And so, I was actually trying to practice this the other day in one of my correspondence games where I had more than enough to win, and I wanted more, and there was like an opportunity to take more, and it was kind of like a slight risk to me, I think, to do that. And so I thought, you know what? I don't need this. Why would I do this? And I went the more moderate route. And I think it was good to do that. And this is like really, really good proverb, I think. I'm gonna give this one S tier. I have too many S tiers now. I had no S tiers before, and then now I have too many. 89. Play fast, lose fast. This will improve your game. This is an A tier. If you play too fast, you will lose fast. Like, you need to put at least some modicum of thought into your moves. And yet, the other proverb I might give alongside this one is like, don't think too much. Because, who was it? That was like, I think it was Kageyama in his book, who's like, only beginners think so hard about what to play or something like that. And I was like, but I really like that too. But I think this one is pretty good as well. Like just playing too much on instinct without, I think I should do an episode on like playing with instinct versus intuition. I think there's a distinction there. And I think this proverb is talking about playing instinctive moves. So play fast, lose fast. Gets an A. 90. Don't play 1, 2, 3. Just play 3. So this is like you're reading out the moves. You can oftentimes skip all the moves that you're reading out to the next part of whatever you're reading and just play that. And it's like the most efficient, elegant way of solving your problem. And this one I think about a lot. And it's like this one, I didn't even hear the proverb, and I knew about it because it just comes out when you're playing Go. And it's good advice to just not play so many stones. Like, try to put more meaning into one stone rather than playing all the stones for all the meaning. I'm hesitant to give this an S because I've been giving so many S's, but this is an S. 91. Hane at the head of 3 stones. Oh man, what did I give the Hane at the head of 2 stones? It's so far back. Where is it? A. I gave it an A, so I'll give this one an A too. Hane. So really the proverb is Hane at the head of 2 or 3 stones. This is very classic, and it's common knowledge and good general knowledge, but I think it goes a little beyond that, and it's just so applicable so often, and you need to remind yourself of these proverbs, and it's just really good. 92. If you have lost all corners, then you have lost. Hey, this is like a duplicate. This is a duplicate of what I had before. resign, right? The one that says resign if you've lost all corners. So I'll give this one whatever I gave that. Resign. C. I'll give this one a C. If you have secured all 4 corners, then you have lost. 93. If you have secured all 4 corners, then you have lost. So this is like kind of funny, right? Because you can't both lose. If one player has lost all 4 corners and the other player has secured all 4 corners, then how do they both lose? What the heck? I want to give this a don't understand, but man, they should all be Fs. This doesn't make sense. Let's give this one an F. Wait, if this one's an F, then the other one should be. They're all Fs. I'm going back and giving them all Fs. Stop thinking like that. Stop thinking about corners and how many you've gotten. If you have lost corners, okay. Just, this is not making any sense. I'm giving those Fs. 94. In a fight, contact plays strengthen the underdog. In a fight, contact plays strengthen the underdog. Pretty fundamental. Yeah, pretty fundamental. It's kind of like don't attach to weak stones. This one's probably just a B for me. 95. We got. You know what? I want to add one more because there was like a duplicate there with the 4 corners. So we'll call this one 94. You know what I mean? Hope I didn't lose anyone who's keeping track. 94. I'm going to lose track because my numbers still say 95. 94. Keep your stones connected. What the heck? Come on. That one I want to give a C minus, but like it's a C. I don't have any minus system here. I want to give it a D, but it's not wrong. Keep your stones connected, but it's so useless. Like obviously keep your stones connected. This is like maybe lesson 1. It's useful. Lesson 1 of a Go teacher's lesson to a beginner. Keep your stones connected is something that they might say, but this is so useless afterwards. 96. Never try to cut bamboo joints. What is with this, like, people talking about not peeping bamboo joints and cutting bamboo joints? Like, this is... I'm going to give this a... Yeah, these guys are getting away with technicalities with these C's because they're technically correct, but I'm reluctantly giving them C's because they're just not useful. But like, because D is reserved for it's wrong, right? It's not wrong, so it's a C. It's like these proverbs. It's like, oh, hold your Go stone with your hand and put it down on the board to play. It's like that's a C tier because it's not wrong. But it's not useful. 97. Separate your opponent's stones. This is another one that's like that. It's because I'm getting to the Wikipedia proverbs. Separate your opponent's stones. Man, I'm gonna adjust my criteria. Oh, I think I skipped my numbers again. This is actually 96 because of that adjustment I did. But from 94 to 96, I'm gonna lower them to D tier because these are just so obvious that it's less than useful. 98, the corn formation. I would love to see a corn shape. If anyone sees a corn shape in their games, please share. But this one is. Did I say 98? Because it's 97. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. 97. The comb formation is alive. I don't really know the comb formation, and so that's why it doesn't really help me to know if it's alive, but I should know the comb formation. Comb formation. Try to say that 10 times fast. Comb formation. I can't do it. This one is... Let's call it an A tier because it'll motivate me to learn this one. 98. The monkey jump is worth 8 points. It's a good approximation of what a monkey jump is worth when you're doing endgame and when you're trying to figure out what big moves are left on the board. I'll give this one an A because I think it has high utility. Number 99. let's read this one for number 99. This one's weaker. The door group is dead. This is another one kind of like the comb formation. I don't really know what a door group is. I see the diagram on Sensei's library, and I see that that's what the door group is, but I don't know what it is, and I feel weird giving this an A, but I gave the comb formation an A, so I'll give this one an A. Whatever. I think once I learn these two, I will give this an A. So let's call it an A. And then finally, we're at Go Proverb number 100. You only have one weak group. Your other weak groups are dead. I like the poetry of this one. This is really just to say, if you're managing multiple weak groups, like, good luck with that. I think this one is like, I don't know how true it is. It kind of is true. I don't know. I'm having trouble giving a rating to this one. You have only one weak group and your other weak groups are dead. I'll give this one a B. It's not general knowledge, but at the same time, I don't know how helpful it is. And then I feel like it also can be useful at certain times. It's like a situational thing. So I'll give this one a B. That rounds it out. Let's see what we have here. If I tally this up, I can find out how many S tiers we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 S tier proverbs, and here they are. 5 liberties for tactical stability. Play away from thickness. Give your opponent what he wants. I still love that one. And then lose your first 50 games as quickly as possible. The threat is stronger than its execution. Do not be greedy. Don't play 1, 2, 3. Just play 3. And those are my S tiers. Thank you for getting through these proverbs with me. I started blacking out towards the end, but hopefully my Go game doesn't suffer too much. And I enjoyed reading those. There are certain things that ChatGPT is good for and not good for, or whatever your AI choice is, Gemini, what have you. One of the things it's really good at is I took all the scores that I gave out, and then I just vomited it onto ChatGPT and asked how many of each, and it gave me the count of how many of each grade I gave. Which is a super, but at the same time, hold on. It gave me 104 entries, but it's totally wrong. So it's actually not good for this. But according to ChatGPT, I gave out 7 S entries, 28 A and 39 Bs, 13 Cs, 4 Ds, and 7 DUs. I don't know how correct it is, whether it's my mistake or ChatGPT's mistake, but that's probably a good ballpark of what I've given out. I hope you guys enjoyed my ratings, and I want to know what your thoughts are on the proverbs and the ratings that I gave out, and whether I missed something or misunderstood a proverb or something like that. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. But now it's time for the DDK Advice Corner and the 100th. Well, I don't think it's the 100th because I feel like I might have skipped DDK Advice for a while or something, so it's not really the 100th. But the 100th episode edition of DDK Advice. The advice is play an enclosure towards thickness. So this is like not very intuitive for beginners. But let's say that you have like a really thick group somewhere that your opponent has built and is like threatening. And it doesn't have to be that thick. It can just be like a small wall or something, but it's like in the opening or something. A move that you can use to reduce that framework or thickness is to just play like an enclosure, like a knight's move from your corner towards that thickness, kind of like a battle stance. That doesn't seem like it affects that thickness very much on the other side of the board, but it actually does, and it actually prevents your opponent from grabbing too much with that thickness, and it prepares you for battle, kind of getting ready. and you're like instant, you're kind of hunkering down, and it's kind of a good tip. You'll see pros do it. If you review some pro games, you'll see pros like playing Knights Moving Closures, or not even pros, just any, strong player. They'll do that towards the thickness to limit the influence of that group. And now it's time for listener mail. Spooky writes, "Hi Justin, the best Go solitaire game of the prepared variety is Sumego. There are unlimited puzzles out there for your computer, phone, or in books, and they can actually improve your Go skills. I once saw an interview with a professional player who talked about their Go school training. One of the things that stuck with me was how they were made to create their own Sumegos as a way of learning the patterns more deeply. Each time you can't solve a Sumego, you commit it to memory and construct 5 novel Sumegos that each rely on the same concept." I've tried to make Sumego before, and it's really hard. I feel like I can maybe start off with some rudimentary concepts in Sumego and try to vary those and try to do it. But it was a challenge. It's not very easy for me. So it might be a good exercise. The first time I came across an Under the Stones Sumego, it blew my mind, and I couldn't imagine how anyone could ever arrive at that solution. But I tried to construct my own puzzles, and it really helped me understand and internalize some of the patterns. Talking about this now, I realize that I haven't done it since then, and I really should get back to it because it's a very productive way to study. It's also a rewarding creative process and could be a way to give something back to the Go community. Spooky. Thanks for writing in, Spooky. I think that's a good thought, and I don't think there are many people who do try to make their own Sumegos. So if anyone has any experience with creating Sumego and if that's actually helped you get stronger, I'd love to know. It's kind of like making me want to try my hand at doing that as well. So thanks for writing in again, Spooky. And Sadaharu writes, in comment of Solitaire Go a couple episodes back, Rube Goldberg Go, that's an interesting game. It's like a ladder Sumego, just that instead of constantly putting the stone in ladder, you have to constantly be putting stones in Atari for both sides. Talking about ladder, maybe a way to make a very long chain is to have a few intertwined ladders that will constantly Atari each other and then run at the same time. Yeah, I like how this idea kind of branches out into other ideas. And I think that's what's so cool about Go, is that it is a game between two players, a sort of duel, but it's also just a set of rules, and you can have like a little playground on the board and you can experiment with how stones behave. And I always think about Conway's Game of Life when I think about this. But thank you for writing in, as always, Sadaharu. The question of the week this week: what is your favorite Go proverb? Are there any proverbs that you heard that really changed the outlook of your game and helped you learn to get better? Did I miss any proverbs that you want to mention? Let me know. So if you want to share your thoughts on that question, or if you have a Go story to share or have a question you want to ask me, leave a comment wherever you found this episode, or email me directly at starpointpaduk@gmail.com. That's starpointbaduk@gmail.com. If you're a YouTube listener, I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe. And if you're a podcast listener, reviews and ratings also help. A special thank you so much to James B., Brendan S., Tristan, Jeff H., and Tyranaton for supporting Starpoint. If you want to support the show in any capacity, go to ko-fi.com/starpointpaduk, that's ko-fi, or check out the Starpoint store at store.starpointpaduk.com. And come on to the Discord. You can find the link in the description. So I had this friend named Chi, and he'd always want to play Go at the most inappropriate times. Like, I'm eating dinner, and he's like, "You want to play Go now?" And I'm on the toilet. He knocks on my bathroom door. He's like, "You want to play Go now?" Or it's 4 a.m. and I'm sleeping, and he calls me and he's like, "You want to play Go now?" And I always said to him the same thing: "No way, Chi." Thanks for listening. Keep playing Go.